everybody, Matt Carpenter checking in here. I want to walk you through kind of a, I don't know, boring or annoying, I guess a better word, part of this process. Is part of the verification process, which are basically when colleges are verifying what we put on the financial aid applications. And kind of the most popular one, and maybe the most intense one, is something called IDOC. A lot of the colleges that use the CSS profile, which is an arm of College Board, also use what's called IDOC, which is an arm of College Board, which basically is a central processing agency that gathers all the tax documents for these colleges from you guys, and then submits them to each of the colleges that use this service. So if and when this is relevant for you, if this is the case, if you have a college that uses IDOC, after you submit the CSS profile, you're going to get an email from the College Board that's going to tell you to go onto the IDOC website and give you instructions for exactly how and where to upload these tax documents. Now, important thing is here, you can't really mess anything up. It's very rare that there's really firm deadlines around this. When I say you can't mess anything up, if you forget to include something, the colleges or IDOC is just going to circle back and say, hey, we still need your W-2. We still need your Schedule C. If you include too much, they're just going to ignore it. So don't put a lot of pressure on yourself. Just one of these things we got to kind of muscle through. And when we're done, we're done. And usually we say, when in doubt, leave it out. It's better to have too little than too much. And again, if somebody needs anything, they're going to circle back and ask for it directly. So without further ado, I want to walk you through it really step by step here. I'm going to share my screen and shut off the video here so we can just take a look at what we're looking at. So this is the email that you're going to get. We set up a dummy account here where they're going to say, hey, one of the colleges you apply to uses IDOC. Here's our link. And here is your ID number. So it's a good thing to copy and paste this. It's one of the identifiers. So I can just click on this link here. It's going to bring me to the IDOC website. Of course, we want to sign in. And then we're going to use 2 of the 3 identifiers. So we already have our ID teed up here. I'll use my fake birthday for this particular student, or fake student here. And we're going to sign in. Now, only use 2 of the 3. Most times, if you use all 3 identifiers, it won't let you in. Now, I've already signed in here once. So the first time you sign in, it's going to ask you for the names, email addresses, and social security numbers for the parents and for the students. And then if there's any other household members, any siblings, they won't ask you for the socials, but they want to know who else is in the house. They'll tell you this, they'll remind you, but it makes life a little bit easier if you include the social security numbers. It usually maximizes your odds that this whole thing processes a little bit clearer. So pretty straightforward. Your first screen is just going to say who's in the house, give us some important information about them. And then we're into kind of the main IDOC dashboard or main IDOC page. And the main thing here is they're just collecting your tax documents. If you didn't file, they're going to say fill out a non-tax filer statement. We'll look at these in a second here, but some other kind of popular requests. Now it's going to tell you up top here of the colleges you apply to. Here's who uses IDOC. In this case, we just said Harvard. But some other requests that are fairly popular, we can take a quick look at here. If you're a business owner, don't be surprised to get this request, a business farm supplement. Fairly robust form here. I will tell you a little hint. A lot of CPAs will do this sometimes without a charge. I'm not speaking for everybody, but it's something we've been seen done in the past. But fairly robust form, again, that wants some details about your business, or if you are a farm owner, about your farm. Okay, so you can expect to see that there again if you are a business owner. The required documents are always going to be shown right here. Another fairly popular request is what's called a verification statement, right? So most of us are dependent students, and you can do this electronically. If it appears in here, it'll be electronic kind of DocuSign, or you can print out this form, sign it and manually upload it. Now, here's something that's been tripping folks up this year, and I don't mean to make fun, but for parents, okay? So parents here, when they're talking about college, undergraduate, graduate, not in college, assuming we're not in college, we want you to select not in college. We've had a few folks that have been interpreting that as I graduated from college, so I'm going to select that off. No, we're only selecting this if we are in graduate school currently. Okay, so let's look at some of these requests from Harvard College. We want you to upload our federal U.S. tax return. Easy enough. So this is where I upload documents. Okay, so it's going to bring us to kind of this document management page, so to speak. Make sure that we have all the correct contact information for everybody in this family here. That's what it looks like. That first page, you sign in. We're going to get some instructions. What should we do? What should we not do? It looks good. And here's where we upload files, right? And I'll just kind of pick a fake report to upload here, but presumably that would be my federal 2019 tax returns, including all schedules. We don't include the state, but it's the entire 2019 federal tax return and all schedules. And once we do that, we're going to say, okay, great, I found the right file. Let me upload my documents here. And then if we are good to go, we will say, great, let's go ahead and submit that. So then it's going to tell us, are you sure? It usually takes 3 or 5 days. And then it's going to tell us, okay, you're good. Now, you might not get the notification that it has actually gone through for 3 to 5 days, but it'll tell us that you have a document that's being processed. And here is, eventually when we get the confirmation, this is where it's going to show up. Now, if the student did not file tax returns, or if his parents did not file tax returns, you can expect to get a request for the non-tax filer statement. So when we click through this, pretty straightforward here. This is the name of the student. If they're married, which again is very rare, that's where they want that information. If they made any money, this is where it included. So maybe they were a student that works and they just didn't file tax returns, but they made $1,000. Let's put that there. It was in US currency, we're saying in this case. And then finally, we want the student to sign it, okay? And once they do that, we can kind of move on to the next step, and we can print it or we can sign it electronically. So once we choose this, similar to the our verification worksheet, it will allow us to sign the form electronically. And it's a little bit of a pain, but they're actually going to email you another document in which you'll do that. Which gets sent to the email that you have on file again, or you have that other ability where you could print it out, manually sign it, and then upload it right here in the same way that I showed you how to upload the federal tax returns. So here's the big takeaways. You can't mess this up. Okay, there's nothing that you can do to really screw up anything in this process. If you include too much, they're going to ignore it. But again, less is more. When in doubt, leave it out. And if you don't include everything any of these colleges want, they're going to circle back and say, hey, we need this form from you. So annoying part of the process, but this is what it looks like. Hopefully this makes you a little bit more familiar when you go to tackle it. And we wish you the best of luck.